Good morning. I'm Reverend Judy Andersen, and it is my privilege to lead our guided meditation this morning. So to begin, let's simply be aware of our breath. We breathe in and we breathe out, and we might use some words with our breath. I breathe, I relax, I am. And we breathe in on the I breathe, and we hold the I relax, and we release our breath on the I am. So again, I breathe, I relax, I am. I breathe, I relax, I am. I breathe, I relax, I am. And I keep up this counted or blessed breathing until I can feel my shoulders relax, any stress in my neck fall away, or in the rest of my body. So a couple more. I breathe, I relax, I am. I breathe, I relax, I am. And if you need to, lift your shoulders as high as you can and let them fall. That felt good. I breathe, I relax, I am. And in the knowing of I am, I come into a deeper place of consciousness, a place of knowingly connecting with the divine within me and speaking my word in that divinity, speaking the word of power, of love, of prosperity, of well-being. I speak my word, and it is acted upon by a law called a law of mind, or the law of the universe, that on which I ponder, that which I hold in mind, comes into my physical experience in some way. And so in this meditation, I choose to focus on the good, the true, the noble, or that which is of good report. I focus on the good it is to have shelter. I bless my shelter, my home, the operating systems within my home, the furnace, the hot water tank, the stove and the fridge, the lights, the phone. How truly blessed I am to have this shelter. I am grateful. And the I am looks in my closet. There is a warm coat, warm boots and shoes. And in my dress-up closet, there are pretty things and utility things. I bless each one, and I am grateful. I look into the world of my health and well-being, and I know that there are services available to me in this country, in this province, when I feel the need of them. I bless those services. I bless the government of my city, my province, my nation. I bless them to their highest and greatest good and the highest and greatest good of this nation, this continent, this world, this globe, this precious blue and green sphere. I look into the affairs of this world, of this planet, and where there is what we term pollution, I stand for cleanliness, clean air, clean water, clean earth, clean cities, clean countries. I stand for tending, for caring for this planet, and I do my share. It is not just for someone else to do or for governments to do. It is for each one of us to do. And so I take that into my consciousness and expand my consciousness around what we call our planet, our ecology, our planet's well-being. And I thank this planet, our Mother Earth and Father Sky, and all that is, for creating, for being the environment that supports me. I give loving thanks for this building that I sit in, for the floor, for the carpet, for the chairs, for the sound system, for the blessed people who are here with me. I am aware of how blessed I am, and I choose to bless everyone that I encounter, knowing that they too are blessed as I am blessed, knowing a higher and greater good available for each and for all, knowing that that good is within reach, a thought away, a word away, as we declare our good, as we think our good, as we bless our good into being. And maybe it doesn't appear in the next 5 minutes, but when we stop and think about it, in the reality of physics, we are told that there is no time, that it is a man-made concept, that actually all that is happening right now. And so that which I speak my word about is created in mind in this moment. But it may take some time, what we call time, to outpicture in my experience. And I bless that process and know it to be good. I look into the world of my relationships. My relationships are in my own keeping. I look at my spouse or my partner or a parent or a child or a sibling or a friend, and I know that the relationship with that being is in my own hands. As I bless it, it thrives. If it is not promoting my highest and greatest good, perhaps I choose to let a relationship fall away. But those I remain in relationship with, I love, I bless, I support, knowing that God is right where I am. God is right where that other being is. And so I know that truth for everyone in this room. I know that God is right where you are. I know that for everyone who is listening from their own home, God is right where you are. I bless this process. I bless this coming together of like-minded people. And I know that in return, I am blessed with your love, your loving thoughts, your support. And so I know that this universe is a universe of plenty, a universe that knows no shortage of any kind, a universe that is ready to dispense into our keeping whatever it is we feel we require, even that which we desire can be ours so long as it does not harm another or infringe on the rights of another. So that which I desire, loving relationships, shelter, food, some pretty things, some useful things, a vehicle that will take me where I need to go, friends who will go there with me. This universe doesn't mind granting our desires, even if they appear to be far beyond necessity. If I desire to have more of this world's good, or a nicer home, a more expensive vehicle, or something else, there's no need to be humble about it. There is only the law to depend upon. I declare my good, that right and perfect vehicle that has the sunroof or the heated seats or whatever it is that I desire. That vehicle comes into my experience in divine right ways, in the divine right order. And I accept it. I am open to good and greater good, knowing that my word has power over the thing. But most of all, I speak my word of health. I speak my word of health for myself and for all others. I speak my word for enough to sustain and keep us safe, and enough extra for pleasure, for the pleasure of our eyes in paintings or in new decorations for our home, the pleasure of our ears in that which we can tune into, the pleasure of our heart in that which we connect to on a heart level. I speak my word and know that it does not return to me void. It returns to me fulfilled. And as I grow into this good and desire something even greater, again I speak my word, confident, accepting that good unfolds in divine ways. Mine is the knowing the what. The law creates the how and the way. And so I rejoice, knowing that the way is already prepared. I walk the walk, I walk the talk, and that which I truly desire comes into my experience. And this talk that I talk applies to each one who is listening. and has a desire that they feel very strongly about, that they are ready to welcome into their experience. Whether it is a new relationship, a new home, a new vehicle, a new way to worship, a new way to understand themselves and their own spirituality. I bless that word, your word, their word, into being, as I bless my own word into being. And I give loving thanks, because I know that it is done, that life is a giving process, that there is a law that is infallible, acting upon that word, so long as I back it up with my thoughts and my deepest beliefs. My job is to walk the path and to not neutralize the good that I have spoken with doubt or fear. So once again, my word has power, and I use that power for good, and I use that power with wisdom. And this I can do because I am that which thou art. Thou art that which I am. And I speak it again. The power comes from that which thou art. And I am that which thou art. Thou art that which I am. And so it is. And we'll continue with our service in about 2 minutes with Reverend Joanne. And I will shut myself off for the moment when I find the right button.
I'm such a rule breaker. I think it's like 11:58. And it says, 10:58. It says 11 a.m. Celebration service. Is that coming out over the speakers, you guys? Can you hear me? Okay. Is Ruth playing a little bit to open as well? Do you want to play anything to open, or are you closing? Oh, well, stay tuned. Ruth is going to do a closing song. The way is prepared, Reverend Judy says. Okay, I think it's 12 o'clock somewhere. It's 11 o'clock in Alberta. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Joanne Faith, and I feel so very blessed to be able to come here, to be with like-minded people, and to be able to open our service today. I see somebody's coming in the door. We won't say, hello, Pat, so that people know she's late. It's all good. I'm early. You're on time. So I have a few announcements. We still have our Christmas Bureau box here in the Red Deer Food Bank. So if you choose to, you could make a donation. And if you don't do it here, please do it somewhere. This is a really precarious time for everyone, and we want them to know that we love them. I see that the food bank box is full, so that's really good. And I just want to challenge you to make a donation to something that serves you, whether it's that or not. Just make a donation to something that has touched your heart this year. That's a really great way to end this year. And so I'm going to start with our opening affirmation. If you have one, it's a little green piece of paper. Maybe you saved it on your desktop from the messages from Reverend Judy or Reverend Tress. And so our opening treatment, we'll say this together. With an open heart, I enter into this experience called Christmas. I rejoice in it all, friends, family, giving and receiving. Most of all, I acknowledge the gift of Spirit as my innermost truth and make the choice to live the wonder of that gift, and so it is. So stay tuned for what our new regulations are going to be. We have a board meeting later. I'm sure you'll see on our Facebook page or on email if anything changes. But I know we're down to 15%, so you'll get a message. Watch our Facebook page or watch for an email from Reverend Judy or Reverend Tress. Our Growing Circle word today is humility. And humility says when you are humble, you don't consider yourself more important than other people, but you know that all people are important. And the affirmation is, I am a little godlight. So we'll say that together. I am a little godlight. Oh, so true. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our speaker today, who is Reverend Judy Andersen. And she's going to be speaking about the way is prepared before me, and she's added some other stuff. So please welcome Reverend Judy Andersen.
I can, woo. Masks get a little bit cumbersome. That better? That better? All right, thank you. So let's begin with what we call a spiritual mind treatment, or an affirmative prayer. Please join me in knowing the good of this day, in knowing that no matter how difficult things look at this moment, there is a way prepared for us. Our part of it is to walk that path and to walk it to the best of our ability, to do what is ours to do. And I choose this day to know for myself, and I invite you to know for yourself, that we do walk our path to the best of our ability, for the good of ourselves and those around us, for the good of those around our world. I give loving thanks, knowing it is done, and so it is. And so, the path is prepared before us, but that nothing happens unless we step into it, unless we're willing to do the walk. And about something hit my mind the other day when I was studying the title and wondering, what am I going to say about this? And it was the 24th Psalm. And this comes into my head fairly often. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. For he hath founded it upon the rock, and established it upon the floods. Who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord, or who shall stand in the holy place? He that hath clean hands and a pure heart, he who hath not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. And it goes on, and the lines that really resonate with me are further down. It's, lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. So lift up the gates, and let the King of glory enter in. That's my take on it. That's part of the path. We're walking the path, but we have to open up the gates, and those gates are within us. the gate that opens up our consciousness to the eternal. It lifts up the gates and lets our consciousness be filled with the knowledge of the divine that we are, with what we truly are. At the center of all our worries and our wishes and our grievances, at the center of our being, there is a place that is still, like the hub of a wheel, where the outside of the wheel goes round and round, but the inside is still, but that is where the power is. And so it is with us. Our outer experience goes round and round, and maybe in circles, maybe in zigzags, but there is that within us which is still and quiet and calm. There is that within us which is all-knowing and all-wise. It is always at peace. It is always comfortable. It is always at rest. And I'm wanting us to explore that, the notion of lifting up the gates, any gates that are within our own being, blocking us from walking the path of what I'll call divine grace and divine good. You know, there are some pretty simple things can sometimes block us. It's only recently I realized why. I have to really work at it if I want to take a selfie and I'm smiling, because my normal way is to not be smiling. So I have to work at it. And I finally flashed upon the inner eye, why? When I was a child, I had very poor teeth, and I had some permanent teeth that never came in. And when by the time I got to 16, I had a little black snag on either side where there were no permanent teeth. And I was so embarrassed about my teeth, I learned not to open my mouth. I learned not to smile. So here, when you see me, if you see me like that, and you think I should be smiling, remind me. Because due to some excellent and expensive dentistry, now I have teeth, now I can smile. But as a teenager, that was a dilemma for me. That was an embarrassment. And that, here I am. That was 16, we finally got those teeth pulled and got a partial plate, so that ended it. But it didn't end my consciousness of not being able to open my mouth without it being ugly. So that is one of my little secrets. What is yours? If you have something deep in your childhood or adolescence somewhere that is preventing you from smiling or laughing or being joyful or in some way experiencing your good, it's time to root it out now and recognize it. And here we come to lifting up the gates that the King of Glory may come in. In reality, the King of Glory is already there. But it's acknowledging it and permitting us to be aware of it and letting it express through us instead of keeping it locked up. So find one of your own things from the past that is still affecting you. And here I am at 80 years old to have that still affecting me. I had my teeth fixed, really fixed, in 2008? I think it was 2008. So here I am 12 years later, and I still haven't got over the habit of not smiling. I've got probably half a year or two left so I can practice. So that's part of my path. And each of you have your own path, and there are things like that that sound silly looking at them now, but that are still affecting you. So try rooting them out, try recognizing them, and say, it's all right, you've served your purpose, but I don't need you anymore. Now I can laugh and I can smile without feeling bad about it. I want to carry on. This talk is really supposed to be about meditation and contemplation and the benefit of it. And we will get into that. It needs also going into how effective it is to do group meditations. That, well, tell you what something Ernest Holmes writes about. Since the explosion of the first atom bomb, we have read about the possibility of a physical chain reaction that might destroy civilization as we understand it. There's another kind of energy that is even more important. This is the energy of faith, of affirmative prayer, and spiritual meditation. There is no reason to doubt that in the field of spiritual consciousness, a chain reaction could be created which would bless the world, which would change the world. And the information goes on and talks about the different forms of worship in our world and how all of them have a form of group meditation, of group contemplation that together creates a force that is so much greater than, okay, let's take us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 individuals. If we were each doing a meditation alone, it would create a field. But how much greater field if there's 7 or 8 or 50 people participating in the same meditation at the same time, creating a field that extends further and wider and larger and greater. I expect Reverend Joanne will be doing that again on New Year's Eve, a world peace meditation where our group will be doing it at 5 o'clock in the morning, our time, and all around the world, people will be doing this at exactly the same time. In BC, it'll be 4 a.m. In Toronto, it'll be 7 a.m. But all around the world, there'll be groups of people meditating together on world peace, on wonderful blessings for our planet. And this, I don't have any order to this at all, but I'm going to read a world peace prayer that Ernest Holmes wrote. You know, I keep experimenting whether it's easier to do this with paper or on my iPad, and whichever it is, I always wish I had done the other way. Anyway, a prayer for world peace. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Imagine that. He's using the first line of the 24th Psalm. I know there is but one mind, which is the mind of God, in which all people live and move and have their being. I know there is a divine pattern for humanity, and within this pattern there is infinite harmony and peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness. I know that the mind of man, being one with the mind of God, shall discover the method, the way, and the means best fitted to permit the flow of divine love between individuals and nations. Thus, harmony, peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness will be experienced by all. I know there shall be a free interchange of ideas, of cultures, of spiritual concepts, of ethics, of educational systems, and of scientific discoveries. For all good belongs to all alike. I know that because the divine mind has created us all. We are bound together in one infinite and perfect unity. In bringing about world peace, I know that all people and all nations will remain individual, but unified for the common purpose of promoting peace, happiness, harmony, and prosperity. I know that deep within every person, the divine pattern of perfect peace is already implanted. I now declare that in each person and in leaders of thought everywhere, this divine pattern moves into action and form to the end that all nations and all people shall live together in peace, harmony, and prosperity forever. So it is now. Ernest Holmes. Isn't that beautiful? And if he could write that, he passed in 1960, so a minimum of 60 years ago, over 60 years ago. And here's our world still struggling to come into that state of consciousness. So can we improve it by being a center for peace ourselves? You know, right now, with what's going on with COVID and how isolated we are, you'd think each one of us had lots of time for meditation, to sit in the silence and know. And guess what? Some of us aren't taking the time to do that when they could. I'm one. And on Thursday, I met with the practitioner class and our last meeting for this year. And it was my turn to do the opening meditation. And afterwards we were talking about it because we take turns and we discuss the meditation and the form it has taken and how we each felt about it. But part of it was, again, something I've been aware of for some time, but haven't really applied as much as I could, and that is that my best form of meditation is a spoken meditation. When I just sit and meditate in silence, it isn't as effective as if I let intuition, whatever it is, speak through me, whatever it wants to say. So my home meditations now are going to be in a closed room with it doesn't matter if it's dark or light, but I will be speaking my meditations and then maybe sitting in silence afterwards. But rather than just trying to empty my mind, go sit down and try to empty my mind and sit and just be in meditation, hasn't been working well for me. So I'm finally getting it. After 80 years on this planet, I'm finally learning how to run my spiritual life. So now I have a while left. I'm going to practice more spoken meditation. So explore. You can do a moving meditation. You can do a walking meditation. I'm going to run over a few of the a few of the spiritual practices in our world. Jainism, they do lots of mantra chanting, which is kind of what I did at the beginning of our meditation today. I breathe, I relax, I am. I can call that a mantra, and I repeat it over and over and over again, and even if I'm not using it as a lead-in to a spoken meditation, it is a mantra. It is still a form of contemplation. And when you work with your breath along with it, and let it open you, let it open me to that voice within, lifting up the gates and letting the King of Glory enter in. And Taoism, which is now considered to be a part of, the word's going out of my head. Whatever, Taoism. You know, my glasses fog up. Have three basic types of concentration. Insight and visualization techniques of Taoist tradition are historically interrelated with Buddhist meditation. That's what I was trying to remember. It's Buddhism. And the Hindus, they have their own routines. Meditation starts by being separate from the mind, being a witness. Watch your mind, don't do anything. As you watch, slowly the mind becomes empty of thought. You are becoming more alert, more aware. When the awareness grows deeper and deeper in you, slowly, Slowly, a few moments arrive, moments of silence, moment of pure space, moments of transparency. So it's not very different from what we do, is it? The Christian faith, the majority of the Christian faith might not practice what we call meditation, but it is meditation in the form of prayers or the repetition of prayers that are printed, or the reciting of the rosary, or whatever practices bring people to a state of consciousness of union, whatever lifts up the gates. In Judaism, it's the study of the Kabbalah is central to examining contemplation of light itself. Meditation can refer to visualization and intuitive methods, etc. And in Islam, there are different sects, different parts of it. I'm most familiar with the Sufis. They are the more mystical branch of Islam, and they are the ones who created what are called whirling dervishes, but in reality, they are priests or people who practice a form of moving meditation. And you've seen them probably on television in their billowing white gowns, and you'll see them start moving in a circle, the first just a step or two, gradually increasing in tempo, speeding up, and they'll have one palm up to receive, the other palm down to bestow, their head at an angle to be looking at their heart, more or less. And they spin and they spin and they spin until they're in a state of ecstasy, of connection. They have lifted up the gates that the King of Glory may come in. In spiritual living, in our particular branch of New Thought philosophy, we do a lot of these things ourselves. We'll use a mantra or a verse we might recite. We do the meditation, either silent meditation or guided meditations, many different forms of it. What I'd like to go into here is that there are a few spoken patterns we can practice, and one of them, it comes from a story that a minister told once when he was on the platform at a ministers' conference. And he said he had been in India and he was talking to a spiritual leader there who said, and this is how we practice our faith. And he recited a few lines, and that was a repetition. And he says, what do you use? And this gentleman, I forget his name right now, but he said, oh, we do that too. Here's one of ours. There is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. I used to do that quite a bit, and I'd just use a string of pearls or something, and I'd sort of be counting them, or not counting them, but going from one bead to the next as I did each line. So there's another way you can meditate. You can make up your own words. There's a little chant that I learned somewhere, I forget where, but it's, I don't carry a tune, but this really has no tune, so it's, I am one with God. 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 Oh, I am one with God. 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 Oh. Sorry, my wind isn't as good as it used to be, but you get the idea. You can make up your own words, you can chant, you can sit in silence, you can combine different ways of meditation and contemplation. You can use meditation. You can walk the path that has been prepared for you in any form of meditation that works for you, whatever will enable you to lift up those gates and allow the King of Glory to come in. And with that, I am going to introduce Ruth, who is going to sing a song that fits right in with meditation and contemplation. Ruth Weisenberger. Thank you.
Is that it? Do you have a level? It's pretty loud, isn't it? Can you hear? Is this okay? Be still, in quiet and in peace. We know the joy of wonder and release. In our quiet mind, all troubles disappear. In this secret place, there is no doubt or fear. Be still and know that faith has made us whole. Renewed are we in spirit and in soul. Perfect peace is ours eternally. The light of truth within shines forth that we may see. Be still, be still. The world is left behind. Be still and know that we are one in mind. The kingdom is at hand with beauty everywhere. Peace and joy are ours, and gratefully we share. Be still, be still, unceasingly we know, aware that love will guide us as we grow. The truth has set us free to live in harmony. So it is, and so we let it be.
Oh, thank you,
Thank
Ruth. How appropriate. Reverend Judy talked about peace meditation, and if anybody else did Deepak's meditations, the very first one, they started with, yes, there is peace on earth, and after 20 days, they ended with, yes, there is peace on earth. And I think that's our song. So thank you, Reverend Judy. That was a beautiful message. I'm going to now read our prosperity affirmation. I invite you to just go get your phone, send some money, write a check, and maybe think about signing up for committed giving online once a month, and drop us a note. We'd love to send you that form. So let's read our prosperity affirmation together. Today, I live in gratitude, knowing that spirit is limitless and my experience of it is limitless. I give freely. I am open to a free flow of good to me, through me, and from me. I feel truly blessed, and so it is. And we'll move into our closing. Joyously I go about the work of the Spirit, which is my indwelling truth. All that I do is blessed and prospered, and my very existence is a blessing to my family, my community, and my world. With gratitude, I acknowledge good in all my affairs, and so it is. And for you amazing board members, see you on Zoom in 2 minutes. Have a great week. Love you.